March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 carrying 239 people takes off into the night and simply vanishes. No distress call, no warning. Early warning systems pick up zero signs of a mid-air explosion. Search teams rush to the last known coordinates and find empty water. No debris, no oil slick. Modern commercial airliners are constantly monitored. Multiple overlapping radar systems track their altitude, speed, and heading. For a massive machine to just drop out of this digital safety net shouldn't be possible. This sudden blackout triggered a desperate, multi-billion-dollar search operation. 10 years later, the missing aircraft remains a gaping hole in aviation history. To understand how it disappeared, we have to look at how the flight began. Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was a routine trip from Kuala Lumpur to Beijing. Everything that night was entirely normal. The weather was clear. The aircraft itself, a Boeing 777-200ER, had a pristine safety record. Up front, two highly experienced pilots settled in for what was supposed to be a standard 6-hour journey. At 1:19 a.m., as the plane prepared to cross from Malaysian into Vietnamese airspace, the cockpit radioed a calm, perfectly ordinary final message. "Good night, Malaysian 370. Just 2 minutes later, at 1:21 a.m., the aircraft's transponder stopped transmitting. A transponder is what gives a plane its digital identity on an air traffic controller screen. It broadcasts the flight number, altitude, and speed. Without it, the aircraft is reduced to an anonymous blip, and then total silence. But the plane didn't fall out of the sky. Military radar later revealed that instead of continuing north toward Beijing, the aircraft made a sharp, deliberate U-turn back across the Malaysian peninsula, and it kept flying. For hours, the plane traveled through the night in total radio silence, drifting far beyond the reach of conventional tracking systems. A plane doesn't navigate itself across an ocean by accident. Investigators considered 3 distinct possibilities: a catastrophic mechanical failure that incapacitated the crew, a hostile hijacking, or deliberate action from someone already in the cockpit. Whoever or whatever was in control, this extended flight changed the scale of the search entirely. Investigators were no longer scanning a localized accident zone in the South China Sea. They were suddenly forced to account for millions of square kilometers across the southern hemisphere. The evidence of the plane's continued flight came from an unexpected source. Even with the main communication systems disabled, the aircraft's automated diagnostic systems continued to send out brief electronic pulses, or handshakes, to a British communication satellite. By calculating the microscopic time delays between each of those orbital pings, experts were able to estimate the plane's final trajectory. The math pointed to a massive curved line stretching across the globe, known as the seventh arc. Knowing the math and finding the plane are two entirely different things. The seventh arc covers an incredibly remote expanse of ocean, and for over a year, multiple search expeditions turned up absolutely nothing. Then, in July 2015, thousands of miles away on Reunion Island, a barnacle-encrusted section of an airplane wing washed up on the sand. Serial numbers confirmed the debris was a flaperon from Flight 370. This single piece of twisted metal anchored the abstract satellite data to a tragic reality. The plane had definitively gone down in the Indian Ocean. But having physical proof of the crash didn't solve the core problem. The exact point of impact along that massive mathematical arc is still a mystery. The southern Indian Ocean is an incredibly hostile environment. The water here is freezing, the currents are violent, and the seabed drops down to crushing depths of 6,000 meters, interrupted by jagged underwater mountains. An international coalition deployed ships, submarines, and advanced autonomous sonar arrays. They mapped thousands of square kilometers of the seafloor in meticulous detail, but found no trace of the main fuselage. It is a perfect storm of missing information. The combination of fragmented digital data and an incredibly deep, unexplored ocean makes this specific stretch of water one of the hardest places on Earth to search. The disaster forced the aviation industry to close the loopholes that allowed this to happen. Airlines upgraded their global tracking standards, ensuring that modern aircraft automatically broadcast their location via satellite, so a plane can never just go dark again. But those safety upgrades don't provide closure. 10 years later, the families of the 239 passengers and crew are still waiting for definitive answers about what happened to their loved ones in those final hours. Independent researchers refuse to give up, continually analyzing ocean drift models and satellite data to propose new, highly targeted search grids. Until the deep ocean finally gives up the wreckage, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 will remain exactly as it was on that first night, a massive machine swallowed by the dark.
Welcome to the Myth Story channel. Like, comment, and share, and be sure to subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications for more.